Well, hello, my friends. It's that time of year. And what time of year is it? I'm here with James Syme. He is the CEO, president of Child Saving Institute. Chris Kobe is Mustaches for Kids board president. And when I say Mustaches for Kids, we know that people are about ready to start growing mustaches, correct?
You bet. It's that time.
Well, Chris, why don't you take it away and just first talk a little bit. What is Mustaches for Kids for those who don't know?
Sure. Mustaches for Kids Omaha is the Omaha chapter of a national organization. And what we do is very simple. We get as many dudes as we can find. We all get together. We all pick a day in early May. This year it's May 5th, Cinco de Mustache. We all shave down completely clean, no goatees, no beards, no nothing. So we'll look a lot like James. And then we grow mustaches. That's it. Just a stash, corner to corner, nothing else. And during that 30 days that we grow that mustache, our friends and family and coworkers often ask us, hey, what's that on your face? And we say, hey, I'm glad you asked. I'm doing this for charity. And we hit up our friends and family for money. And all that money goes to deserving local children's charities right here in the Omaha area.
Well, I'm going to take it over to you, James, because you were one of the charities, Child Saving Institute. And is it again this year, or do you choose different charities each year? I'll give it back to you, Chris, for a second.
Yeah, well, I think they choose different charities each year, and I'll speak in 2020. Micah House was fortunate to be selected as a charity partner, and this year, Child Saving Institute is one of two charities. But I'll let Chris dive a little bit more into that process, because I'm sure it breaks a lot of rules, and there's as much form as you can imagine if you know Chris. So
yeah. Well, yeah, let's go back. So let's just go back to that real quick. And then I'm going to ask you a couple questions, James, about why you're actually one of the reasons why you're sitting here. So Chris, yeah, how do you select the charities? Because it used to be just one, and then
for years we would just select one charity, and we've done it kind of the same way for a number of years. We have an application process. So in February, the application goes out. It's not like your typical grant application. We ask a few normal questions, and then we ask some just off the wall, bizarre questions, because we need to know that our charity partners have a sense of humor, because to put it mildly, we're a lot. To get a couple hundred knuckleheads once a week out to the various establishments that we frequent and live in the mustache lifestyle. So every year we get different applications. Starting during the COVID year, we did a virtual campaign, and that was the same year that we became our own 501c3. So that gave us the flexibility then to pick more than one charity. And that year we actually picked 8. We picked 8 charities and spread it around as many as we could. Last year we picked 2, and then again this year we picked 2 charities. Child Saving Institute, which you'll hear more about from James, and then Kids Can Community Center.
Okay, awesome. Two great charities. So so James, tell us a little bit about CSI, because you're recently your position there. Is it been over a year? Maybe it's been 2 years. Time flies right now.
Well, nobody's given me that much credit yet, but we're about 7 months into the new role.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's been an exciting time. Obviously, CSI just celebrated its 130th birthday. So we've been doing the work a long time, and we've been trying to get M4K's attention for a number of years. I think 12 years. It's so desperate on our behalf to keep yearning for the belonging to the mustache world, but we're super excited to be a part of it. We're excited for our friends and partners in Kids Can. They do amazing work in the community. And so we're really excited to get growing to help support all the work that we do, from foster care to early childhood to mental health services. And, hopefully this positions us to evaluate and expand some of those key programs.
How else are you involved in this, James?
Well, it's hard to just be a grower when you're raising money when the organization selected isn't your own. But this is one of the years where, since CSI is selected, I will, my mustache name is Tenuous Tuft. So Tenuous Tuft will be dusting off another journey, terrible 30 days. It's rough. I make the sacrifice to shave daily because I'm trying to save everybody around me from the embarrassment that is my facial hair. but I'm going to make the sacrifice for 30 days and try to raise some money and really just jump all in. I think that's part of the onus when you get selected. You got to embrace the culture and give the energy and enthusiasm, because there's hundreds of guys here that know nothing about our charity until we're selected. And the maximum enthusiasm that they give to raise money, it's infectious. And I think it's the task for me to at least meet that enthusiasm and effort.
And I love the word culture, because this really is a culture, so to speak. And even though, you know, the charities around, 12 months out of the year doing things, everybody really comes together. And so, Chris, talk a little bit again about, so Cinco de Mayo is the big day where everybody do they shave at the event, or do they come clean shaven?
Most people will come clean shaven. You can shave at the event. We used to have razors when there was fewer of us and you could get away with that. We do have one gentleman who years ago, I think he's been doing it 7 or 8 years now, went into the bathroom, came out. We didn't have very good razors, and came out with just patches of blood drying all over his face. And so he actually named his mustache Bloody Harry. And now, as a rite of passage, every year he goes into the bathroom at clean shave and comes out bleeding to great applause and cheers. It's twisted, but that's his game. So we kick it off on May 5th this year. We'll go for 30 days, and then it ends with Stash Bash. And Stash Bash is June 4th this year. It's the slowdown. There's no way to describe it. It's simply the greatest party that you'll never remember. We have celebrity judges. We hand out awards, and I'm gonna brag a little bit for James, even though brag is not the right word at all. James is a Stashy Award winner. So 2 years ago at our virtual Stash Bash, James won the trophy for nastiest stash. It was almost imperceptible, but what you could see was horrible. So, it's one thing for guys like me. I can have a mustache in about 8 hours. It's really the guys like James that are suffering through, because when it gets to week 2 or 3 and people realize he's trying it, that's when the tough questions start coming. And so my hat's off to the guys like James that really are suffering and can't even walk past their own reflection, frankly, most days.
Yeah. How many years? What year is this for?
So this is year 14. Omaha is the biggest chapter in the country, both in dollars raised and guys. Last year, we raised $835,000 in the month of May for our 2 charity partners, In Common and North Star. And to date, we've raised over $4.7 million. We'll cross the $5 million threshold here in just a few weeks.
That's amazing. And looking to years past, I mean, when this first started, I mean, how many guys showed up to do this?
Our very first year, we wanted to just do a pilot project. Adam Perez saw this online, brought it to a few of us and said, let's just get 12 guys. We'll just see how it goes. We ended up with 30 that first year, the original Dirty 30, and we raised $23,000. And we thought, oh man, that's incredible. 23 grand just by growing mustaches. And one thing led to another. It's just got away from us. And, you add in the type of guys that are fun loving, that like to do this stuff. And then you put Omaha's generosity on top of that. And frankly, we shouldn't be surprised, but we are every year. And
how many, first question, can people still sign up to do this?
Oh, absolutely. We are right in the middle of our registration season.
Right.
Now is the biggest time. We got our guys out there pushing, trying to find guys, because more guys equal more dollars equals more fun. And once we get started, we're started. We've got our crew. So right now we are actively, I know James and his crew and Cliff down at Kids Camp, I mean, they're out there finding dudes. So if anybody sees this, or if you got a brother, a spouse, a father, an uncle, a coworker, send them our way. If you're on the fence, just show up at Two Fine Irishmen on May 5th, hang out, just see what we do. We'll do a little presentation on how it all works. And if you show up at that, you'll be hooked.
And then also you have a couple other events that will happen between May 5th and June 4th that you're just getting together. You're just kind of checking each other out. So every week we have a checkpoint. It's not at all an excuse to get together and drink beer and say it's for the kids. I don't know why you would even accuse us of that, Andy. But we play trivia one night. We have Mustache Melee one night, which is like a series of head-to-head contests. We have Magnum PI night, which is, flowered shirts. And despite our many, many admonishments, there's a lot of shorts at that event. So it's just a way for the guys to get together and talk about the mustache lifestyle, commiserate. We announce our weekly total at those events. It's a lot of fun. It really is. In many ways, it's a fraternity that we've just created as grownups. Absolutely. And I will say, I've been to a few of the stash bashes. They are freaking hilarious. Because everybody comes in a costume. I mean, everybody is being somebody that maybe they really wanted to be in a past life or in the current life or whatever. But yeah, it's so much fun. Now, can people, I mean, the slowdown, obviously there's a capacity there. Do you sell out?
We've come close. We did sell out one year right before the pandemic. We had a big crowd, and we told guys ahead of time, buy tickets because you'll get turned away. And they did have to at some point start turning a few people away, but we keep our eye on that and make sure that we've got enough space. But the slowdown has been such an incredible partner for us. That stage and the setup, we can't imagine doing it somewhere else. So we hope not to get so big that we can't go there. And
yeah, absolutely. And I guess I bring that up too, because you can buy tickets to go. So you don't have to be a stash grower. You don't necessarily even have to know a stash grower. You can buy tickets and just join in the fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All the checkpoints are open to everybody. Stash Bash is open to everybody. Yeah. It's just getting these guys to open their email and read it and actually do grown-up things is really a struggle.
Right. And then I would say actually one of the fun things at the very end of the night is when you do show the totals on the cards that you lift up. I mean, it's a huge celebration, and everyone, it's just a really fun, exciting time. Again, doing great things for great charities. James, do you have any kind of last words do you want to just give it your all for the CSI?
Yeah, no, obviously, well, we're in it and we want growers, right? And so I'm going to be advocating heavily for Child Saving Institute, our mission, and the work that we do. But again, we're in it for M4K as a partner. And I think, honestly, at this point in time, we need folks to grow. We have some ambitious goals that we're talking about. And we only do that if more people are outgrowing, sharing the message. And I think what we want to do is make sure M4K is around for, the charities 5 years down the road too. And one way to do that is introduce more people to their mission so they can continue to share good in the community. So we're happy to partner. We're excited. You gave me a costume idea. I wanted to be Chris Kobe, so that might be a great costume idea. I might have to show up on stilts or something, but about people who we want to be when we grow up. So maybe that's a costume idea, Andy. I don't know.
It's actually been done. Eric Depew went as me one year, and he's tall like I am, and wore the same tux I had on at the event. It was actually very funny. So we actually incorporated him into the beginning of the program. And if I could just add, the charities that we pick, we don't talk a lot about them in the Mustache group as much as we probably should, because once we get through the vetting process, we had over 30 charities apply. There are awesome charities that we just say no to every year, and it sucks. But we have gotten really lucky in picking really great charities. This year's no exception. Kids Can is literally right now building their new facility. There's cranes up, they're doing work. We're going to help them finish that project. CSI, I was on their board years ago. My father-in-law was adopted through there. I know the great work they do from the inside. So it really is, our guys screw off the whole time, but the money's real, and it's being used by really, really good people to do some great things in Omaha. And as we look back, if we give ourselves a moment to reflect over all of our charity partners, it's been pretty incredible what these silly little mustaches have done in this town.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this is a big thing, and a lot of work I know goes into this, but again, you guys have more fun than I think I've ever seen anybody have, which just lightens the whole world up, and especially our community. So Chris, thank you so much. James, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, I really appreciate the interview every year, Andy. It's a great bit for us to share with our guys, and we really appreciate what you're doing for the community as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andy. And if you're getting this late and you didn't get a chance to grow, log on to m4komaha.com and search out Tenuous Tuft. I'll take your $25.
You're shameless. You're shameless.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. And I look forward to June 4th. So,
all right.
We'll see you later.
Much.
Take care.
Hello, I am here with Major Greg Thompson. He is the commander of the Salvation Army Western Division. Welcome, Major. Good to see you.
It's good to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So a lot of times we often talk right around the holidays, which is a big time of year for the Salvation Army. But I also know, I mean, you're 24/7, 365. The Salvation Army never stops. So with that being said, let's talk about what's going on right now. What are your needs?
So the interesting thing is we have a huge presence at Christmas. So people see it, they see all those things. And what they misunderstand is that a lot of what we do at that point has to do with us moving forward throughout the year. So we raise money at that time of year to make it possible for us to serve people the entire year.
Right.
So I just want people to know that as they look at, now we might be a little more quiet, but we're still there in the background working every day to transform the lives of people in need.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just talk about some of the ways, I guess, around the holidays too, there's red kettles, people are donating money, which I know is always, that's again, 24/7, 365. But are there some other ways that people can contribute back to the Salvation Army?
Oh, there's all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned the two, the giving and that kind of thing.
Right.
But there's ways that we have volunteer opportunities at our food pantry. We have volunteer opportunities at even our early Head Start, where they have parent interaction with people. We also have opportunities for people to help with just interacting with people in transition or in their lives or in transition, or helping them through helping to learn how to clean a house, or working with a veteran or things like that. There's all kinds of different opportunities, even working with youth at one of our community centers. We take volunteers. We'll take a volunteer to do anything.
Right. Right. And the thing about your organization, which isn't the case for all organizations, I mean, you really serve everybody from the youngest of citizens in our community to the oldest, and everywhere in between.
Right. We start with that early Head Start, which is even pre-birth sometimes. So we could do 0 to 3 there. And then you can move on to some of our family interactions beyond there. We've got community centers where your children could be involved, and different kinds of character building and opportunities to grow there, even worship services for the entire family. And then we have housing services and case management services, and that goes all the way up into what we call our Booth Manor. That's named after William Booth, our founder, and that's called Booth Manor. And we serve low-income senior citizens in their final years of housing and independent living.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit. Looking at my notes, I want to talk a little bit about the food service and what you do during the summer, which is right around the corner, for the different school lunch programs and those types of things for kids.
Yeah, just to back up a little bit on the food service too, I think it's important for people to know that we haven't experienced a down from the COVID years. In fact, from year over year, from last year to this year, same time, we've seen a 24% increase in the need for food stability in people's homes. So it's important to us to do things like our Winter Night Watch, which helps feed people during the cold months, and then our Kids Cruising Kitchen, which we use during the summer to feed kids in need, low-income families. We send out 2 different vehicles. They're called canteens. They look like big trucks. That's what they look like.
Right.
We call them canteens. Send them out with grab-and-go meals for kids, and each one of them, we have about 6 locations that we stop at every single day to make sure that both the homeless population and those low-income families are getting the meals they need for the summer months.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you need volunteers for that type of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We definitely need volunteers for that. We always need, we need drivers, we need hand-routers, we need just people who would be willing to just talk to kids and, tell them about, even we give them a little brochure that says, here's what else we can provide for you.
Right.
We can always use volunteers for that program, for sure.
And I know all of that information is on your website, so people can find that and everything they need.
Correct.
So let's talk about, this is a favorite annual event that's coming up here. It's a luncheon. It's DJ's Hero Awards Luncheon. It's started by the Sokol family in honor of DJ, their son, who passed away during his teens from was it leukemia?
I don't recall the
Okay,
exact cancer that he
I should know. Yeah. Yeah.
but
And
he actually, I will tell you a little bit backwards for you.
sure.
The Salvation Army actually started this the year before the Sokals got involved. And but the year
Okay.
we did it, we started with a very small group of like, I think 5 kids got a scholarship that first year.
Okay.
And it was very minimal, it was like $2,500. But it was like, okay, we're going to start this thing and see if we can go. In the meantime, the Sokals were going through a very difficult moment with
Right.
DJ. He was an interesting person who was always involved in wanting the underdog to be better and helping them be better.
Yeah.
And so when he passed away, the Sokals came to us and we went to them and we said, you know what if we partnered and made this thing really big in honor of DJ? And they were like, oh, that would be great. And from that moment on, I will tell you that the Sokals have been 100% on board with supporting this event over the last, now we're at 22 years, I think, this year.
Oh my goodness.
And we've gone from those first 5 scholarships to now 17 scholarships this year at $15,000 a piece.
Yeah.
I think $15,000 a piece. So we're having an opportunity to make a deeper impact in people's lives. In addition to those scholarships, now we've also added the piece over the last couple of years. We've added a mentorship for the students as well, knowing that many of the people we give scholarships to have really come from sometimes very desperate situations.
Sure.
And high school is very different than college. And every college student will tell you, yeah, it's really different. So, when we make that transition into college, I think people need a little extra help, and especially for those families that we're dealing with who've even come from even more difficult situations that these kids are in, to help them even along the path. So we're providing not only the scholarship, but a mentoring along the way for them as well.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for it, to understand how events start and kind of where they come from, and then also just see how they've grown and then the impact that they continue to make in the community from that kind of inception point. First of all, I think it's fascinating, but it also just shows the generosity of the community.
Absolutely.
Well.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to know this is not particular to Omaha. This is across the entire state of Nebraska.
Yeah.
So we send this out to all the schools, all the counselors in all the schools get to nominate a child. And then we have a committee who reads all of those nominations and has to somehow whittle them down.
Yeah.
We thought we were at 15. And then someone on the committee said, well, I want this person to get one. I'll give you more money to do it. And somebody else said, well, I want this person, so I'll give you more money. And so they keep giving us, people love it so much that they get to have an impact on somebody's life that they're willing to invest in them.
Yeah. Well, this event is coming up. It's always like the first Tuesday of May.
Yep. Mm-hmm. May 3rd.
May 3rd,
this year at 11:30 a.m. And we are back at the CHI Health Center.
Okay.
Back inside. Last year we did it the first in person after COVID. Last year out at the ball field.
Right.
This year we're moving back inside at the CHI Health Center ballroom. So we're really grateful. Individual seats are available. Tables of 10 are still available. You just go to djshero.org and you can sign up and be a sponsor and get a good meal and get to meet these kids along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that I love so much about this event is they do introduce them. You're a part of it. You're truly a part of the change that happens at this event.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's marvelous.
Yeah. Well, we've got 30 seconds left. So 30 seconds.
30 seconds left. I would say this. I think it's marvelous to be a part of this community that is so giving and so generous and understands. I call it Midwest nice. People just understand a need and they are willing to say, you know what, I've got some, so I can give to somebody else. And that is, I think, across the board in this very generous community. And the Salvation Army is a grateful recipient of many people who think in those very same terms.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Absolutely. And again, go to the website to learn more about the luncheon, but so much information on the website as well. Just about all the opportunities to contribute and volunteer. So Major Thompson, thank you so much. It's great to see you in the springtime. So, and I'm sure we will be connecting soon. So
we will.
All right.